Once upon a time, deep in the emerald embrace of a sprawling jungle, there existed a magnificent tiger. His name was Sherkhan, which means the strong, the brave. And indeed, he was the embodiment of these words. Sherkhan's roar echoed through the dense foliage, a sound that struck fear into the hearts of his prey and commanded respect from his fellow jungle inhabitants. For him, the forest was his kingdom, its inhabitants, his subjects. And he ruled over them with a fierce yet fair paw. But one evening, as the sun began its slow descent and the jungle prepared for the night, Sherkhan's arrogance led him into a predicament as he stalked through the underbrush. His keen eyes suddenly caught a glint of metal. It was an old hunter's trap. One that even the great Sherkhan had overlooked. Driven by his predatory instincts, Sherkhan tried to circumvent the trap, but it was too late. The trap snapped shut on his paw, locking its sharp teeth around his flesh. Pain shot through his body, searing hot and sharp like 1,000 tiny needles. Growling in pain and fear, Sherkhan struggled against the trap, but it was no use. The more he struggled, the deeper the wounds became. As darkness fell, his strength waned. Alone in the vast jungle, the mighty Sherkhan, the king of the jungle, was helpless. The thought struck him like a bolt from the blue. What if no one ever found him? What if he died here, humiliated and defeated? The very idea was unbearable. Meanwhile, in the nearby village, nestled at the edge of the jungle, the villagers were fast asleep. But one young girl named Maya couldn't sleep. Something kept her awake, a strange restlessness in her heart. Unable to shake off this feeling, she decided to take a walk. As she stepped out of her hut, she saw a faint light flickering in the distance. Curiosity piqued, she followed the light. As she moved deeper into the jungle, the light seemed to beckon her forward. Suddenly, through the trees, she saw a clearing, and in the center of the clearing, a sight that made her gasp. There before her eyes was a magnificent tiger, its entire body trapped in a hunter's snare. Seeing the girl, the tiger tensed, ready to pounce. But Maya stood her ground, her heart pounding in her chest. Slowly, cautiously, she approached the trapped animal. Despite its ferocious appearance, Maya saw fear and pain in the tiger's eyes. Gathering her courage, she began to speak to the trapped animal in a soft, soothing voice. The tiger looked at her, its eyes filled with distrust, but it didn't attack. Realizing that the tiger was trapped, Maya's determination grew. She knew she had to help the animal. With gentle hands, she began to work on the ropes, carefully untying the knots. The tiger winced as Maya worked, but it stayed still, trusting the young girl. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Maya managed to free the tiger. The magnificent beast stood up, shaking its head to clear away the fog of pain and fear. Looking at the girl who had saved him, the tiger felt a surge of gratitude. He knew he owed his life to her. With a deep bow of his head, acknowledging Maya's kindness, the tiger turned and disappeared into the jungle, leaving Maya in awe. News of the girl who befriended a tiger spread like wildfire. Villagers came from far and wide to see Maya, their young hero. But for Maya, the greatest reward was the admiration and respect she received from the jungle's inhabitants, especially from the majestic Sherkhan. From that day forward, Sherkhan and Maya became friends. The mighty tiger often visited Maya at the edge of the jungle. Their friendship a testament to the power of compassion and bravery. And so the tale of Maya and Sherkhan became a legend, a story whispered from generation to generation, reminding them that true courage doesn't always roar, but can also be found in the quiet rustle of leaves and the gentle touch of a girl's hand. Now, isn't that a beautiful story? If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button so that we can bring you more enchanting tales. Until then, keep listening and dreaming. In the depths of the forest, where man is only a shadow, there lived a tiger, not just a tiger, but the real ruler of the thicket, Sherkhan, mighty, graceful, with eyes full of ancient power. He was feared and respected by everyone from monkeys to elephants, but even such kings of nature sometimes get into trouble. One day, at sunset, when the jungle was filled with the sounds of nightlife, Sherkhan went hunting. Everything was going as usual. The rustle of leaves under his paws, the chirping of nocturnal insects, the distant roar of a swamp crocodile, all this was like a well-rehearsed symphony of the night. But then he noticed something unusual, a glint of metal among the tall grasses. Curiosity got the better of him. After all, these parts were quite remote and rarely visited by anyone. Sherkhan cautiously approached the strange object. As he got closer, it became clear what the glimmer was. It was a trap. An old rusty trap. Such things were long forgotten in these parts. Trying to bypass it, Sherkhan suddenly felt a sharp pain in his paw. The trap snapped shut, imprisoning his paw in a vice-like grip. The pain was unbearable. The beast struggled, trying to free himself from the clutches of the metal monster. He roared, his powerful paws hitting the tree. But his desperate cries were swallowed by the thick foliage of the trees and only echoed back to him. No one answered his call. The night had fallen. The forest was asleep, or so it seemed. But in reality, the nocturnal symphony was playing out its final notes. For Sherkhan, the king of the jungle, this night became a real test, a battle not with another animal, but with a cunning inanimate trap. Meanwhile, at the edge of the forest, in a small village, nestled among green fields and murmuring streams, people woke up to the first rays of the sun. None of them had ever heard of a tiger prowling nearby. If they had, they probably wouldn't have been sleeping soundly in their homes. In one of those houses lived a girl named Maya. She wasn't like the other villagers. While the rest of the world slept peacefully, Maya couldn't stand still. Something kept her awake. It was a feeling she couldn't explain. It was as if the forest itself was calling out to her. Suddenly, a wild, piercing roar broke the silence. It was unlike anything Maya had ever heard before. Although she wasn't a hunter and didn't know the forest as well as the men did, she had a sixth sense, an intuition that told her something was wrong. Without even changing out of her nightgown, she grabbed a flashlight and a sturdy rope and hurried out of the house. No, she wasn't going to look for the tiger to fight it. She simply couldn't do that. But she couldn't just ignore the creature's cry for help either. Hours passed, the sun climbed higher in the sky, and Maya still hadn't found the source of the disturbing roar. Just as she was about to lose hope, she saw it, a majestic tiger with a paw caught fast in a trap. The magnificent beast looked at her with pain and sadness in his eyes. It took Maya several minutes to get close enough to the trapped animal to try to help. When she finally reached the tiger, she acted quickly and confidently, despite her fear. Every one of her movements could have been her last, but the sight of the suffering animal gave her strength. Slowly, carefully, she began to cut the ropes of the trap. The tiger flinched slightly at first, but then calmed down, sensing her peaceful intentions. Finally, with a jerk of the head, the tiger freed his paw from the trap. For a moment their eyes met. In those emerald green depths, Maya saw not a ferocious predator, but a living creature full of gratitude. The tiger looked at her for what seemed like an eternity, then turned and disappeared into the thick underbrush. Maya returned home. With the rising sun, the villagers came out of their houses and flocked to her, eager to hear about her adventure. From that day on, Maya became a hero of the village. But she remained humble. As for Sherkhan, the mighty tiger, he returned to his domain, forever changed by the encounter with the girl who showed him kindness in his hour of need. The vast world continued to turn, carrying on its path both predators and people. And somewhere deep in the thicket, there lived a tiger with a limp. He no longer saw humans as a threat. He knew that good could come from the most unexpected place, from a tiny girl's heart.